On top of Pride Rock, high above the kingdom, Kovu stands. His breathing is heavy, his claws glinting under the moonlight. In front of him lies Simba's body, motionless on the cold stone. His wide-open eyes still hold that look of disbelief, as if refusing to accept what just happened. Kovu doesn't move. He just stares at the lion who was once his hero and whispers in a trembling voice, "I never wanted it to come to this, but you left me no choice." Rain begins to pour, mixing with the blood, washing over the rock, as if the heavens themselves are mourning what's been done. From afar, the lions roar in panic and Kiara rushes toward the den, shouting her father's name. But it's too late. The music fades. Silence takes over. Then we go back to before that night, to the day it all began. Just a few weeks earlier, the kingdom lived in fragile peace. Kovu had earned Simba's trust after saving Kiara from the fire, and everyone believed the past was finally behind them. That the hatred between the two generations had been buried forever. But inside Kovu, not everything was fine. There was a war raging within him, growing stronger every day, between a heart that loved Kiara and a soul raised on vengeance. One night, as everyone slept, a voice whispered inside his mind, "Have you forgotten who you are? Did you really think the blood of Zira and Scar would forgive your betrayal? Simba will never let you keep the throne. He'll banish you, just like he banished the others." Kovu opened his eyes in the darkness. Something inside him cracked. And that's where this strange theory begins. What if Kovu, in the end, couldn't escape his destiny? What if the words Zira planted in his head as a cub were stronger than any love he'd ever known? We all know that in the movie, Kovu chose peace in the end, but in this alternate world, he couldn't. His subconscious took over. The old call returned, pulling him toward a path with no way back. It may sound insane at first, but let's take a closer look at some of the subtle hints hidden in the film, clues that might suggest something darker beneath the surface. In the scene where Kovu trains in the Outlands, his gaze toward the horizon is sharp, cold, almost haunted. Zira's words echo in his ears. "Remember, Kovu, Simba is the enemy. He stole everything from us." He doesn't reply, but the look in his eyes says enough. There's something unresolved, something dangerous still burning deep inside. Could that moment be the true beginning of his transformation? Later, when he meets Kiara again after the fire, we see him hesitate. His eyes shift between her face and the royal den behind her. It's as if his heart is torn between love and ambition. Was his love for Kiara real, or just a way to reach the throne? Even stranger is the way Simba looks at him, every single time they meet. It's as if something inside Simba doesn't trust him. During the famous confrontation after the fire, Simba glares at Kovu with a mix of fear and rage and says firmly, "You won't fool me that easily." Could a father's instinct have sensed the danger to come? Could he have known deep down that Kovu carried Scar's shadow within him? And with every clue, the question grows darker. Was Kovu truly the kingdom's savior? Or was he the Trojan horse who entered it under the name of love? The hyenas had vanished, but who said they were gone forever? Maybe they were watching from afar, waiting for the right moment. Maybe they were even in contact with Kovu, reminding him that the old order wasn't dead yet. Then comes the stormy night, the night everything changed. Simba called for an urgent meeting after rumors of a conspiracy began to spread. All the lions gathered around him, but Kovu arrived late. As he walked into the circle, every eye followed him. The air was heavy, charged. Simba stepped forward and asked loudly, "Is it true? Have you been in touch with the outsiders?" Kovu stayed silent. The wind howled. Lightning split the sky. Kiara looked between them, trembling. Simba approached again, voice shaking with fury. "You said you left that life behind. Were you lying to me?" Only then did Kovu raise his head slowly and reply, "I didn't lie. But you never believed I could change." Something shifted in that moment. The look in Kovu's eyes was no longer that of a son. It was the gaze of a lion claiming what he believes is his right. The silence shattered. Kovu lunged. Both lions tumbled from the ledge as roars and screams filled the air. Kiara cried out, Zazu took flight for help, but everything happened too fast. Then we return to the opening scene. Simba lying still beneath the storm, and Kovu standing above him, tears in his eyes, but no turning back. We can't tell if it's rage driving him, or something darker. Perhaps it's Scar's lingering shadow, still alive inside him, and as he delivers the final strike, Kovu says just one line, I didn't choose this path, it chose me. But the story doesn't end there. The next day, Kovu wakes on the throne, surrounded by uneasy lions. Kiara sits in silence, hidden in the shadows. Everyone waits for his words, but none come. He just looks to the sky, haunted. Strange visions begin to torment him. He sees Scar's shape flickering in the darkness, hears his voice whisper, Well done, my son. The kingdom is yours now. Kovu shouts back, I'm nothing like you! Scar laughs softly. We all say that at first, until we become what we fear the most. Days pass. The pride grows restless. Instead of uniting them, Kovu's rule spreads fear. Even Kiara starts to drift away. Each time he approaches, she steps back. One night she tells him in a broken voice, You killed my father to save yourself. But in truth, you killed yourself with him. Kovu says nothing. He walks out into the rain, onto the same rock where Simba fell. He sits there, silent, eyes glimmering with regret. If I could turn back time, he whispers, maybe I would have chosen to die instead. Then he hears movement behind him. A small cub stands there, eyes bright and curious, eyes that look just like Simba's. The cub asks, Are you the king? Kovu doesn't answer. He looks up at the sky and murmurs, Kings aren't always born. Sometimes they're made out of their sins. Suddenly Zazu swoops in from the distance shouting, The outsiders! They're coming from the east. Kovu rises slowly. The circle isn't complete yet. The past still haunts him, and the future refuses to let him go. And then comes the final twist. The hyenas that everyone thought were gone had been hiding all along, waiting for Simba's fall to seize the kingdom. They storm the Pride Lands, led by a massive female with a scar across her face. She roars, The new king! Our old friend! That's when Kovu realizes the awful truth. He's been nothing more than a pawn in someone else's game. He fights back, but guilt weighs him down. Lions and hyenas clash beneath the storm. Kiara joins the battle, shouting, Remember who you are! But Kovu hears only Scar's whisper in his mind. Save yourself, like you did the first time. In a desperate moment, Kovu finds himself trapped. Hyenas on one side, lions on the other. He locks eyes with Kiara and says hoarsely, Maybe I don't deserve forgiveness, but I won't let them take what's left of you. He leaps at the hyena leader, and the two fall together off the edge of the rock. Kiara rushes to the cliff and looks down. But there's only fog and rain. The battle ends. The Pride Lands fall silent. The victory feels heavier than any loss. Kiara stands before her father's body, and the empty space where Kovu vanished, and whispers, Maybe fate was crueler than we thought. But he walked a path no one else had the courage to take. Days later, peace slowly returns to the land. Kiara is crowned as the new queen, vowing to lead with wisdom and without hate. But every night, as she climbs the rock and looks up at the stars, she hears two voices in the wind, one calling her to light, and the other warning her of the dark. Maybe Kovu didn't die completely. Maybe he lives on, in that space between shadow and sun. And so, the final question remains unanswered. Was Kovu a murderer, or a victim of destiny? And can love ever rewrite a fate written in fire and blood? Perhaps one day we'll find out, when someone returns from the shadows, carrying the truth that's never been told.